We have George from Missouri. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're good. Hey, we're great.
Yeah, but, I was just calling. I was listening to your topic. There's nothing better in life than having somebody to share your life with you, your goods and your bads, Anybody that just walk out on somebody just because they got sick or something like that, they really didn't love them in the first place.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
That makes sense for one aspect of it.
No,
depending on
but what if you had like 10 kids and your person became paralyzed and then you got to take care of another person and you could have just gave birth and had a newborn. It's hard.
Well, if you have 10, what's another
if
one?
You have 10,
Yeah, but I'm saying, but I could see how it could be a burden because it's hard being a single parent now and having.
It's absolutely a burden.
It's a burden, but not wanting to be bothered is kind of selfish. If you think about it, I don't want to be bothered because he's ill or he's got a certain.
When you say you love someone, it's supposed to be loving the spirit, the essence, that personality that's inside that shell.
It's
the body is supposed to be the shell of the. You're supposed to be in love with that person, the spirit.
Right.
But yes, then part of us is okay. I do want a guy with 2 legs. I do want a guy with 2 arms. But damn it, imagine if the tables were turned and you lost your arm, or you lost your leg, or you had to have. I was watching Discovery Health today, and this woman had diabetes, had to have her foot amputated. They ended up going up to her knee, and it's like, what if her man, who she's been with all these years, gave kids to, spent a life, made vows to, says, I didn't sign up for a girl with 1 leg.
On you. Yeah.
Like, damn, you didn't love me. You loved the shell. You didn't love me, and I think me is more than the shell. So.
Well, that sounds like the difference when a guy says, baby, I got love for you, and baby, I love you. That's like the difference. Yeah. Maybe it's just like he was saying, it's not love, it's lust, or it's some sort of other form of
I love the idea of you.
Exactly.
But then again, I've seen some extreme cases, and we'll get to some other cases later on, where I don't know if I could deal with some of the things. You know what I mean? Like, could I put a diaper on a grown man and wipe his ass and do all the stuff? Like, I don't really know if I'm capable of doing all that. Tina, do you have a poem?
I do.
Really?
I wrote it at 4:15.
Really?
I left office at 4:30.
She holds us down.
All right.
She got it.
Very good.
This love thing was supposed to last forever, lasting through the normal stormy weather. Couples fight, argue, whatever. Still they get past and simply grow together, never questioning whether, what if, or how. When tragedy hits now, smiles turn into frowns, life's turned upside down. No more playing around. I felt I crumbled when the doctor mumbled we'd never dance again. I felt selfish yet selfless, hurting for my best friend, my lover, my life. I became your wife just in June, and it's only July. The honeymoon ended so soon, and all I could think of was me. What will happen to we? What if this happened to me as I help him in and out of the tub? I went from lingerie to nurse's scrubs. Still, I love him, and this won't be easy. Yet all I could think of is, if this were reversed, would he leave me?
Wow, very good poem, Tina. Thank you very much. We are talking about ride or die relationships. Would you stick with your mate through thick and thin? What is too much to handle in your relationship? Give us a call, 877-2106-106. We'll be back with more right after the break.
Back to my video days.
We on?
We slow winding over here.
Welcome back to the Claudia, Georgia, and the pitch. Who's in the house?
Tina Davina's here.
Who's in the house?
That's you.
Lola! Who's in the house?
Portia's in the house.
Who's in the house?
Shelly Rio.
Who's in the house?
I'm your host. It's Claudia Jordan with the bumpy face.
Stop.
I do. Look at my face. Look at the bumps.
You have to be this close to your face to see it.
You guys are
I
lying.
magnified your picture and I couldn't find it.
No, you see it.
It's like red.
For someone that has flawless skin, it's a big deal.
Right. Somebody that steps out of a magazine.
Pretty much. I have airbrush skin naturally. We are talking about ride or die relationships. What's your breaking point? What is it besides cheating that will make you, what do you think you could not handle? A major weight gain in your mates. If they lose their job, their career, something where they can't. Something happens where they can't work anymore.
Touch my child. Shoot, I would leave.
Well, that's
that's beyond. I would leave. I would press charges.
That's a given.
But I think a loss in ambition. Like if you, I know sometimes people may go through like a depression phase, and like if you're no longer able to help your mate, like they're maybe gaining weight, they lost their job, and they're kind of going through this depression. You want to be there for them, but then like after a while, they're not being very receptive to you, and it just becomes now you're depressed because they're depressed.
Yeah.
Then I think that this is a deal breaker. You're not trying to help you. I can't help you. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, that's what
I got to bounce.
Yep.
See, I would leave if it was something like that, but physically, if something happened, then I'd be more conscious of thinking why I was to leave. If he stayed the same person, like you said, he was still ambitious. Let's say he was in a wheelchair and said, "Well, I'm gonna still get a job. I'm gonna still do what I was doing before," and he has the ambition. Then I would definitely stay.
I'm looking at the Twitter page, at the Foxhole Twitter page. Christine T. For Real says, I'm a rider. I don't give up easily. I believe in the men I choose to have relationships with. I'm usually the last one to give up. And then we have Lisa Williams 4 says, as long as they don't cheat. Well, let's look at that. If they don't cheat, but say they lost, like you said, all their ambition, they just want to lay on the couch, and then they get fat, and then they have an attitude problem, and they're nasty, then they're no longer the person that you started off with. There are things that can be almost as bad as cheating, if not worse, you know? Because depression, and a lot of times people change, you know?
True. I think if I were in an accident, like let's say I was like badly disfigured to where it was, you know, just it affected my life and it would affect that person's life. And let's say, you know, we're kind of at this age where I feel like we have a long time to live. I would let them out. I would be like, you know what? I don't want you to be stuck here with me for the rest of your life, and I would give you an out. And if you want to stay, right? Because I don't want to feel like a person needs to pity me or, you know, and I might be my own little independence, but unless I had like 3 months to live or 4 months to live, then I want them to stay. But otherwise, I feel like I'd give them an out. You know,
a choice, at least.
Right?
Okay.
I don't want you to be stuck.
Even if
you live your life.
If you were married,
still be my friend. Right? Still be my friend. Still come check on me or whatever. But you go find somebody to make you happy and live your life.
So sad. Like, isn't that the reason why we have those vows for rich or for poor, for, you know,
sickness
and in health? Does that not mean what it really? Is that just bullshit?
No, it's not just bullshit. I just think they're
vows.
I just think they're vows or words that are said during a wedding.
I'd like them to say,
but that's what vows are.
I know you're supposed to meet them, but I mean, a lot of people don't.
So then why say
You're
that?
right.
Let's say, hey, let's not say
so
vows.
should we just change it and say, I'm going to try to be with you as long as you still stay cute, as long as your coochie still gets wet, as long as your penis still gets hard, as long as you keep somewhat of the same figure, you make the same money, you don't get any burns on your face. I mean, that's so many asterisks next to it, then fuck it. You're really not pledging anything, and then anyone can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone can't stick by those vows. So I have a lot of respect for these people. Like, I was watching Tina. I told you about the documentary. You watched it. There was a documentary on Iraqi on the soldiers over there in Iraq, and some that came back. One guy had a fiance before he left, and when he was over there, he was involved in an awful accident. I mean, his legs were just chewed up. He had all kind of prosthetic leg, you know, parts. And when he got back, he didn't think his woman would still want him. She ended up marrying him, and then they ended up having a very happy life. Then there was another couple that was happily married before he went over. He came back, all limbs intact. He had a bomb blow up in his face. He lost his eyes, okay?
Wow.
When he got back, the woman, just from him being blind, said, I just can't do this. I can't do it. She left him. So he took the diamonds out of his wedding band, and he put it in his glass eye.
That means something.
It was very disturbing. But I felt for him so bad. I'm like, here we are, this one couple where the woman decided to go forward. Not only am I going to still keep you, I'm going to go ahead and marry you. And, you know, he lost limbs. And the other one, everything still looked normal. He even with the glass eye, besides the one with the diamond in it, he looked normal. But because he didn't see anymore, that's it. Jeez. And he looks so crushed. And these guys go. I wonder how a lot of these soldiers are. You know, they probably have. I don't know how many people are sticking with them when they get back. You know, they're losing limbs. They're probably emotionally changed. Yeah. And I commend the women that stand by their men that come back from the war.
Yeah. I have a friend right now that's her boyfriend is overseas, and she has that fear. They had this talk recently, like, you know, if he lost limbs, like how would she feel about it? What if he, you know, whatever, anything can happen when you're, you know, in war. So it's definitely a scary situation.
There's some that go over there that don't lose limbs, but they have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're a different person.
Right, they have mental disorders.
Speaking of mental disorders, we have Iceberg on the phone from New York.
We know that was him.
Iceberg, welcome to the show.
Yeah,
like to hear your take on this.
Right.
Well, my take on it is that I can't believe so many people are superficial. I mean, if you really love someone, you're supposed to be there through it all. I mean, I can speak from my own experiences. I mean, hell, I remember when I stopped selling drugs, you know, and I had to go get a job, and, you know, with no real education or nothing, never having no job, making $5 an hour. My wife was making good money. And, you know, she stuck through me. I mean, I must have got fired from about 15, 20 jobs, you know, because of my attitude. And, you know, I'm not that type of person. You're going to be screaming at me. I'll be ready to twist your ass up. But I feel obligated to always stay with my wife because through some of my roughest times, I mean, she's always held me down. I mean, now, you know, 10, 15 years later, I'm good. You know, I done found me a nice career. But, I mean, look at Superman's wife. She stuck with him. She had to change diapers and everything. If you really love somebody, that's what love is. I think people throw that word around too loosely.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Iceberg, could you do that if, God forbid, something happened to your wife and she needed you to change her diaper, her colostomy bag?
Yeah.
Would you be able to do that?
Anything my wife would ever need from me, she got it. Because the reason I feel like she's the only one for me, because when you successful and you got everything, it's easy for somebody to roll with you. But when you that nigga coming off the block trying to establish yourself, and you got somebody that's already successful and doing her thing and still help carry you to get to where you at, I'm forever grateful to my wife and my kids, and nothing to come.
That's what I did for Dude.
Thank you, Iceberg. I like hearing the side of you.
Nice little sentimental moment.